Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. So this video that I'm going to be presenting on my channel today, this video was a highly requested one because the last video that I posted regarding GKS scholarship, like the 3 important things that you need to start doing one. So a lot of people wanted to have a individual video of a personal statement and study plan. So today I'm going to be talking about personal statement, and then in another video I'll be giving you some structural tips to write a good study plan. Now, a word of caution before we get into it. The information that you get from internet, like the information you get from other scholars and the information you get by Googling stuff, you should always take those information and do your own research and then make something out of it. So don't just take literally whatever the people are telling you about. So I'm also not a master in this. I'm just an amateur and I made it, but then there are a lot of people, they might have written in different ways. So it's best if you stick to your own research as well, along with what you are, like the information that you're getting from the internet. So yeah, so with that, let's get into it. So we'll be talking about different points. Like I have around, I think, 9 or 10 points. So we'll be taking each point individually, and I'll try to be as detailed as possible. So the first and the most basic thing that students and applicants should be aware of is to follow the guidelines. Now, there are a lot of students who don't stick to the guidelines and they write in whatever way they think it's correct. But the thing is, even if you're writing a very personal and a very good personal statement, if it's not according to the guidelines, they are going to reject your application. So when the guidelines are out, like the guidelines for the 2023 scholarship is going to be out around mid-February. So when the guidelines are out, you should go through the guidelines and read it thoroughly. See what they have asked for. So for example, usually for personal statement, you're given 2 pages. So you have to write the personal statement in 2 pages, and it's Times New Roman font and 12 points. So if it's 12 points, you cannot make it 11 points or 10 points or 13 points. And if it's Times New Roman font, stick to that font. So these like very small things you have to follow. All the guidelines, all the rules, all the instructions they have given you, you need to follow them because they're very particular about it and they're pretty serious about it. And they look for small reasons to reject application. Why? Because every university or every embassy is getting a lot of applications. There are very few seats for every country and they receive a large number of applications. The next step is to start writing your personal statement. Now, when I say start writing your personal statement, it's basically just start penning down. You don't have to think about the number of words. You don't have to think about the number of pages for now. What you need to do now is that just start writing. There are some, like in the personal statement form, in the guidelines, you'll see there are some questions given, right? So you can use those questions as your starting point and just start penning down everything. Once you have, like, for example, 3 or 4 pages worth of your personal statement, I have also already mentioned this in the previous video as well. If you have like 3 or 4 pages of personal statement, now the actual work starts where you'll have to edit it over and over again, editing it over and over again till it becomes like very comprehensive, very cohesive personal statement to be submitted for the application, right? So everyone has a different writing style. You need to find your own writing style. You must have written essays, you must have written a lot of stuff during your school days, maybe during undergraduate as well, right? So go through your writing and see what your writing style is, or if you're aware of your writing style, just keep in mind that you have your own unique writing style and you need to stick to that to make it more personal. And that is why it's called a personal statement. It's your own statement, it's your personal anecdote, so you have to be sure of it. So a lot of scholars, what they did was they just simply answered those questions in paragraphs and they submitted your personal statement. Now, I'm not saying that it's not good to do it that way, but the problem is, since the number of applicants every year, it's increasing, right? And it's getting more and more competitive, more and more complicated. So the best thing you can do is to make a story out of your personal statement. What's personal statement? We just discussed, it's a personal anecdote. Now, what's a personal anecdote? It's your own story. What you have done up until now, things that happen in your life, your strength and your weaknesses, your motivation, your family background, everything. So you're talking about yourself, you're talking about your story. So making a story and then presenting that story to the academic counselors, it would be the best way to show them the true you, the real you. So try to make a story out of your personal statement and give it a flow. If there is a flow in the story, if there is a flow in your personal statement, they like it, because everyone loves a good story. Everyone loves a good flow, right? So if you have that flow like a river, it will be really good. So the next thing I think would be really important to discuss is about your strength, weaknesses, and a lot of points that we tend to mention in a personal statement. Because when we write a personal statement, we talk about a lot of our experiences that we have gained, like your internship experiences or like your strength, your personality attributes. So we tend to write a lot about it, right? Now, when you are kind of praising yourself, because we do tend to write good things about ourselves, like, for example, I'm very dedicated, I have a really good personality, I am very emotionally available, I have a very flexible mind. So we tend to write a lot of things about our personality. What usually happens is that you cannot just write about your attributes, you cannot just write about your characteristics. If you simply write it down, it will sound vague. There is no proof for them to see why you have that characteristic within you. So whenever you're mentioning something subjective about you, whenever you're mentioning something good about you, like a strength or something, always back it up with something like a experience, a story, or an incident, anything that happened in your life. Like, try to back it up. Try to find a story from your life to back up the point that you're mentioning. If you're not backing it up, like I said, it's very superficial. So don't make it sound like a superficial and a very vague personal statement. Try to include yourself in it. Again, we are going back to the same point, trying to make it more personal. Give your own real life experiences. Talk about them in the video so that it can actually sound like a personal statement. So that personal opinion. So when you're talking about motivation, because it's also kind of like a motivation letter where you're talking about your motivation for this, like for the program you're going for and why you chose that country. So when you're talking about your motivation, don't just talk about the motivation in a sense like, I want to go to Korea because Korea is a very developed country. I want to go to Korea because Korea has a great economy, or something like points like this, which like, if you'll just hear these points, the first thing that will come to your mind is everyone knows it. Everyone has like one or two idea about it. What is something that you truly want from Korea and why you want to study in Korea? So now answering this question, it would become much more easy if you relate it with your major. Obviously, you're applying for a master's degree or for a PhD. Now, why you chose Korea for that master's and PhD degree, right? And the moment you'll start answering this question, your personal opinion will come out. So try to stand out. Try to show yourself. And then these are the keywords that I keep on repeating in this entire video. Make it personal. Make it personal. And then make it your own story. Make it subjective. Own it. Own your own personal statement. These are the keywords you need to keep in mind when you're writing a personal statement, or in general when you're preparing your application. Lastly, the best thing that you can do for your personal statement is to edit and refine it as much as possible. Edit, keep on editing it till you really get the best out of it. Share it with your friends, share it with your family members, share it with like any person who can give you a true opinion or can share with you like good critics about your personal statement. Share it with those people. What happens usually is that when we tend to write something about ourselves, there's a natural bias that comes to our mind. So even if you're not trying, you're actually biased because you're writing about yourself, you're writing about your own opinions. So you don't have to try for that. It automatically happens. And you write from just your own perspective about you. So we have to change it. We need to ask people to give you to tell you that, okay, fine, the something that you have mentioned, this is a bit off, or this is something which isn't actually there. Maybe you over-exaggerated it. So you need such points from people who know you. So always never hold yourself back from sharing it with the people who you can trust and who you know will give you good opinion about it. So always do that. Now, as far as the structure of the personal statement is concerned, like I said, the structure, as long as you are mentioning everything they have asked for, you're good to go. So you can follow any structure you want. But usually when you start writing a personal statement, if you start with a very interesting paragraph, like the first initial paragraph, if it's very interesting, then it will be really good for your application. Because just imagine you started reading a book or you started reading an article, and the first paragraph is so interesting that it makes you read more. Obviously, you'll keep on reading it till the end. So you need to develop that curiosity. You need to develop that, and you need to grab the attention of the counselor who will be reading your personal statement. So if you can start with a really good paragraph, it would be really, like, I think that's one of the best thing you can do for your personal statement. And then again, how you end. You cannot just have a very abrupt end. Like I said, since we are making a story out of it, you cannot have a very abrupt end. So a start and end really matters. Obviously, the middle content will matter too, but the start and end, it really matters. So focus on that, and then try to build a story in the middle, everything. Talk about your motivation, family background, your internship experiences, why you chose Korea, why you chose that major, everything, and build the entire story out of it. That'd be the best thing you can do for your personal statement and as a whole for your application. Yes, I think that's it. We have talked about a lot of opinions. If you guys still have any questions, leave them in the comment box below and I'll reply to them as soon as possible. Let me know if you have any questions. Also, let me know what other type of content you guys are looking for. Like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed it yet, and until I see you again, bye-bye.